Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I am your host, Kim, aka Bravo Breaking News on Instagram. And normally I come here to spill the tea and read news articles about our beloved Bravo celebrities. But today it's going to be a little different because I'm actually going to be sharing an article about myself. Yes, if you have been following my journey on Instagram and on YouTube, you guys know I went to Something About Her on opening day. Well, the New York Times reached out to me and wanted to interview me about my experience, as well as Bravo Breaking News as a whole. And I am so excited to share this interview with you and the article. If you guys haven't already seen it, I'm going to break down all the details and clear up some of the quotes that they included from me in the article. But before I dive in, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any Bravo Breaking News. Okay, so in case you guys missed it, I was at Something About Her on opening day. If you missed my video, make sure to tune in. I will link it above. As the dedicated Ariana and Katie stan that I am, of course, I drove up from Huntington Beach that day to go to Something About Her, wait in line, and indulge in some sandwiches. I got to meet Ariana and Katie. It was such an amazing experience. And I guess the New York Times caught wind of it because they reached out to me to interview me about my experience, and it got published yesterday on the New York Times. The article reads, "To make a hit Los Angeles restaurant, Vanderpump It. The most hotly anticipated opening in the city this year might be a sandwich shop from two Bravo stars." Shout out to Tejal, who was the writer, who was absolutely amazing and a pleasure to work with. The article reads, "The fans control everything in the Vanderpump Rules multiverse, and lately, what the fans want are crisp, pressed turkey sandwiches and prebiotic sodas under the soft glow of shabby chic chandeliers in West Hollywood. Something About Her, a new sandwich shop from the Bravo stars Ariana Madix and Katie Maloney, is a 2-hour drive from Kim Maiketta's home in Huntington Beach, so she took the day off from work as a social media manager and copywriter to turn up on its first day of business." Excuse me, what? I mean, they included my name in the second paragraph right next to Ariana and Katie's and are basically putting this story in the context of my experience. I mean, I was shook when I opened this link to this article, guys, yesterday. I could not believe it. But it gets better. Arriving an hour before the shop opened, Miss Maiketta settled in as the 15th person in a line that grew steadily throughout the day, snaking down the block. And it wasn't just a line, but a cultural phenomenon, tourist destination, and social event covered in detailed play-by-plays in news stories, blog posts, podcast episodes, and social media reels. Miss Maiketta runs Bravo Breaking News, an Instagram fan account that's part of a complex cottage industry built around Bravo's cultish reality stars and their shows. "We are diehard and we are dedicated," said Miss Maiketta, who had been reporting on the ups and downs of the opening for about 2 years. And that we are diehard and dedicated. I mean, I am so glad that a publication like the New York Times is actually accepting the fact that reality TV is a huge part of culture and society and needs to be talked about. I am so glad we are getting the recognition that we absolutely deserve. So this was just amazing to be included in this article. I mean, Tejal, the writer, also went to Something About Her and shares about her experience. She talks about the sandwiches. She talks about the girls being there and taking photos and working their little butts off throughout the day at the cafe. And she does include another quote from me later on in the article. "The Hollywood-adjacent sandwiches seem named for movie stars and directors, though the connection to the contents of the sandwiches wasn't immediately clear. The Nancy Myers ? A BLT on sourdough made with romaine was crisp and toasted, pleasingly drippy and well-seasoned. Generously filled, but not to the point of being unmanageable, it was a perfectly good sandwich, though it's fair to say no one would be waiting for it if Miss Madix and Miss Maloney weren't behind it. Each restaurant represents the cast member who opens it, and its success is directly tied to fans' opinions of them on the show," Miss Maiketta said. "The fandom right now is firmly on Team Katie and Ariana." Now, I stand by this quote, but it might not mean what you think it means. I am not saying that the product that Katie and Ariana are delivering is not good. It is absolutely delicious. I would definitely go back for these sandwiches. But would I have woken up at 7 a.m. and driven to LA and stood in a line for 2 hours for this sandwich if Katie and Ariana weren't behind it? No way in hell. I am at this sandwich shop for them. I am at this sandwich shop because I love them as people. I want to support their business. If this was just some random sandwich shop opening in LA, I probably wouldn't even know about it. But the fact that it is tied to these two people who I absolutely love and adore, I am going to support it. Now, I also want to say that that quote was also made in context when talking about Schwartz and Sandy's, because as we know, and as she shares in this article, people basically boycotted Schwartz and Sandy's after Scandival, after what Tom Sandoval did, simply because his name was on the front of the restaurant. Scandival also bumped the show's ratings and shot its stars and their businesses to new levels of fame. In 2022, when Mr. Sandoval and his fellow cast member Tom Schwartz opened their Los Angeles bar Schwartz and Sandy's, it was to much less fanfare. Post-Scandival, fans called for a boycott, and theories about the bar's various failures and possible demise are a major topic of conversation, both among fans and on official channels. So what I was basically saying is, how you act on the show and your actions will affect your business. If you are the face of a brand or a business and you do something that the audience might not like, they're not going to want to support you. And the fact that we have been able to watch Ariana and Katie be strong, independent women and inspirations on the last couple seasons of Vanderpump Rules, if not throughout their entire existence on the show, is in fact what makes something about her so special. The sandwiches could taste like shit. We honestly don't care. We are there to support them. But to be fair, the sandwiches are delicious. I am looking forward to returning. And I think when I say that the fans are on Team Katie and Ariana right now, I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon. And I think that the sandwich shop will see even more success than it already has now in the future. So that is my exciting news. I mean, I was in the New York Times talking about something about her. Could it get any better? I don't think so. But the newspaper does come out in print today. So if you follow me on Instagram, make sure you tune in because I am going to find it in real life and see my name in an actual newspaper, guys. I don't know. This is like my biggest accomplishment to date in life, and I'm excited. So I just wanted to share the news, clear a few things up, and say thank you to Tejal and the New York Times for including me in your piece. And of course, make sure you guys are subscribed here so you don't miss any more Bravo Breaking News.